It is week 8 of PFR on Lakeshore Public Television. Tonight we get you ready for the Battle of LaPorte County, which online this week, Wayne, it was voted the top game in the state of Indiana tomorrow.
Oh, I can see why. There's no doubt. This is a huge game.
You know, Northwest Indiana never gets any props, so we didn't really
I know. That's great. That's fantastic.
We'll hear about LaPorte and Michigan City, among others. All that coming up next on PFR.
Who is the dark afraid of? His name is Tim. When you report a power outage, Tim and linemen like him respond to the call. Text OUT to 444-111 to report an outage. With your cell phone, when the power's out, power is still in your hands. Support for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Geminis, partnering for the future.
All right, it is week 8 of PFR on Lakeshore Public Television and a huge Duneland Conference showdown tomorrow night with LaPorte and Michigan City. We'll hear about that later tonight, Wayne, hearing from both coaches. But some week 7 notable things that stood out.
Hey, we still have 2 undefeated teams in the area. LaPorte being one, and Hanover Central continues to roll. Nice victory for North Newton over South Central last week. A big game. They're 6-1 now. We've had some good games these last couple of weeks.
They could be heading on a collision course to decide a conference championship next week. Conference championships being decided, of course, the tournament draw was on Sunday, so a lot to look forward to. Before we go to our players of the week, though, we'll look back at week 7, the highlights on PFR Rewind. was our PFR Rewind for Week 7. Now time for our Offensive Players of the Week. And as it happens each year, someone starts to dominate the awards,
Boy,
it's becoming the Buck Kane Vesey Offensive Player of the Week award.
wow, what a player this young man is. You know, he had 192 yards and 3 TDs versus Portage, and he's just a man in that backfield. And now you put Hurt coming back from injury, that's going to open up things even more.
Yes, it will. Give him another option, open up that offense a little more. Dustin Lindley, he can stake his claim to an offense, it being his Offensive Player of the Week award.
I'll tell you, 185, 3 TDs against Wheeler. It's a great victory for Hanover Central there.
If you look at Michigan City, Hanover, and LaPorte, so many multiple offensive weapons so that you cannot key on any one player.
You know, this Nolan Lawrence from LaPorte has just been outstanding. 115 yards, 3 TDs against a very good defense from Crown Point. But he throws the ball very sparingly, but it seems to go for a touchdown every time he throws it.
Yeah, he's got some big targets on the tight end area. And Trevor
Svinarik. And Trevor from Lowell, 3 TDs versus Morton. Lowell's kind of, waking up now a little bit. And this young man's playing very well.
Well, they're not playing 6A teams anymore.
No, that's right. And that's good for them.
How about Andrean's defense and Lake Central's defense? Let's move to defensive teams of the week.
Hey, Lake Central's got to be really happy right now. You know, shut out Chesterton, played very well. They've got a new back in the backfield we'll talk about in a minute here. And Lake Central shuts out Chesterton. Andrean shuts out KV.
Coach St. Germain coming back this week, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Colt Wagner, North Newton's defense has been tremendous this season.
1 interception, 1 fumble recovery versus the South Central. And Dylan White from Whiting had the game-winning interception versus Calumet.
All right, special teams players of the week.
Here's another kid that's been on this special teams board this year. Keyshawn McGill, boy, you got to cover him. LaPorte better know who this kid is on kickoffs. 89-yard kickoff return for a TD versus Maryville. And he's had a couple of those this season.
He's stepped up as well since Hurt has been out.
Yep.
So
Ben Friedrich from Crown Point, a nice 39-yard field goal. And Alex Seaberger, Griffith field goal, 26 yards versus Highland.
All right, and the most coveted of the PFR awards, sending you into famous football celebrity status nationwide. Well,
you were talking about off camera here a little bit about IU's new 270-pound back.
Yeah.
Well, this Josh Williams from Lake Central is only a sophomore, and I got it from the underground. He is huge.
Wow.
And he had 190 yards and 3 TDs against Chesterton.
Definitely a big night for him because Giles got hurt, got banged up a little bit. And Griffin Jelensky of Valpo.
It's a 21-yard catch. We haven't heard about him at all from Valpo.
He said, hey, Jay Bazacki's a stud, but throw me the ball.
That's right.
Come on. I can help out. I can help out. So he got to throw his way for a touchdown. Jake LaFue's got to spread it around
That's
a little
right.
bit,
Spread it around a little bit.
All right. Time now for the Little 5 poll for this week.
We've got, Gavitt's in the poll this week, 3-3. You got South Central, Knox, and North Newton, both 5. Well, South Central and Knox are 5-2. North Newton 6-1. And I know people are thinking, okay, now wait a minute. North Newton was number 1 last week. Why did Rensselaer jump over them? And that's only because I finally looked up their record, and the one loss they have is to Rensselaer.
Right. That's right.
So.
And the Bombers are coming on. They've played obviously a very difficult schedule. The trap game this week is for Hanover as South Central. You can't be looking ahead to North Newton.
That's right, because North Newton struggled with South Central. That was a huge game. It was a great game.
They did.
And South Central is capable.
Yeah. All right. How about the only poll that matters? Forget about those papers tomorrow. It is the PFR Top 10 and what it is all about. One of the great rivalries, Wayne, in high school football in the region is Griffith and Andrean.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It was remember those years in the past
Oh,
where they
yeah.
were just battling and things? Well, now you've got Griffith in the top 10, making a little streaking movement here, playing well lately. East Chicago.
And, Sagarin says that Griffith is not that far away from Andrean.
Okay.
Not a
Really?
2-touchdown spread like you may
Really?
believe.
Oh. Holbert is in number 8. We'll see, because
Okay.
Andrean, I'm sure, is preparing for this one.
Okay.
3-4 on the season. Portage has played well all year, and you got to give him a lot of credit. And Whiting has bounced back off of their
Hanover
loss to
7-0.
Hanover Central. 7-0, one of the 2 teams in the area still undefeated.
Maryville out of the poll.
Hey, you got to win ball games. Michigan City is number 3, and the Valparaiso Vikings.
Lost their quarterback. You kick them when they're down, Wayne, you know? Valpo at 5-2, City at 6-1, and the number 1 team in the only poll that matters up
Yeah.
against it. The orange and black of the Slicers at number 1.
That's right. If they want to stay number 1, they're going to have to play very well at Ames Field there in Michigan City.
Yeah, I don't think there's no doubt about that. LaPorte and Michigan City, everybody's saying this is the biggest matchup in the history
Yep.
of both schools,
Yeah,
football-wise. Kind of both obviously have great basketball tradition. LaPorte's got a good football tradition, but Michigan City, of course, with the consolidation of both high schools a while ago, now with maybe their best football team, right?
Oh, gosh, by far. I really
Yeah.
think so.
Don't go anywhere. T-Dub is out at LaPorte in Michigan City. He's got the story when we come back on PFR.
For more information on everything prep football, visit us on Facebook or on Twitter at PFR Sports.
Joe and Wayne, let me take you back to the 1960s in baseball when there was a ball player by the name of Rusty Staub, whose nickname was Le Grand Orange when he played for Montreal. Well, we are now at Le Grand Orange in high school football. That would be the LaPorte Slicers, who beat Crown Point last week and now have a huge Duneland Conference game against Michigan City. And you remember Rusty Staub back in the day, right?
Vaguely, very vaguely, yeah.
You're such a young guy. Congratulations, first off, on the big win against Crown Point. How did you get all those points against that great defense?
Right, it was our homecoming week. The crowd was fired up. We got off to a really hot start with 2 quick touchdowns, and from there, just kind of we did what we do, and we gradually moved the chains, and before you know it, we put 5 touchdowns up on the board. So we were very pleased with that. Crown Point is one of the best defenses in all of Northern Indiana, so it was good for our kids to know that they can still hang a big number on a great defense.
And of course, a lot of that great work has to be taken care of on Friday. Michigan City is your next opponent, and another team that runs the football very well.
Yeah, offensively, I know number 5 and number 6, Buck and Marquise, they get all the credit, but I really think their quarterback, McCullough, he's the straw that stirs the drink, and he's basically the only true dual threat quarterback that we'll see all season, with the exception of the New Prairie kid. So they got very capable receivers as well, but you're most definitely right. Their offensive line has improved from last year, and they're going to try to run the ball for sure.
If I would have told you at the beginning of the season that Michigan City versus LaPorte could be the game to decide the Duneland Conference Championship, what would you have said to me?
Oh, we expected this. We knew the city was going to be good. We knew we were going to be good, and it's no surprise to us, no surprise to them, I'm sure.
Now let's talk about why you're so good. That running game has been phenomenal for you this year.
Yeah, we had we replaced all of our offensive linemen, but I give Coach Bob James, he's our offensive line coach, a ton of credit. We had big kids that were eager. That we had a lot of great JV linemen last year that had to sit and wait their turn, and they were fired up as soon as we got to put the pads on, and it's really that offensive line that's getting everything kick-started for us.
Before we let you go, I pick up the newspaper Saturday morning and I read LaPorte beats Michigan City. How did it happen?
Well, it might be a high-scoring game. We're going to do what we do. We're going to run the ball. We got to connect on some timely play-action passes, and we got to get stops, especially in the red zone. They're very dangerous, but if we can bend but not break, we got to play extremely well special teams-wise, and obviously we cannot turn the ball over.
Congratulations to you. Wish you the best on Friday.
Hey, thanks. We appreciate your guys' coverage.
And now let's say we head out to Michigan City to see what the Wolves have in store for Friday's matchup with LaPorte. Time to talk about the Michigan City side of things with this big game coming up with LaPorte on Friday, and we have the head coach of the Wolves, Phil Mason, joining us. And how do you turn a program around as quickly as you did this season?
You know, Tommy, we got great kids here. I mean, and these kids were just hungry to get out and play some great football and work hard. And since I've been here in March, they've done everything I've asked them to do. So, I give all the credit to these kids. They're just phenomenal kids.
Now, if I would have told you at the beginning of the season that Michigan City versus LaPorte would possibly decide the Duneland Conference Championship, what would you have said?
Well, I would have said, of course it will, but what a great opportunity. Sharp's doing a great job. He's a great kid. I've coached against him in the past, and his father is legendary over at Jimtown, so he's doing a super job over there at LaPorte, and, we just hope with what they're doing offensively, we can stay with them and give them a game.
You mentioned offensively. They've got a tough running game. You've got a tough rushing game. So that being said, what's going to decide Friday's game?
Well, unfortunately, it's probably going to come down to if somebody makes a mistake. You got two great teams going at it. I hope our defense can answer the bell to what they're doing offensively, and hopefully our offense can keep the production going. But, in a game like this, sometimes it just comes down to somebody makes a mistake or maybe forces an error on somebody, and that makes the difference in the ballgame.
Do you trust your defense to be able to possibly make that play that could force a mistake and win it for you?
Our defense has had some really great games this year. In a couple games they've struggled early, but then responded. So I think our defense is very physical. I think they're really fast. So I think our defense will give us a great chance to win this ball game Friday.
Kane Vesey, one of your top players on this team. Let's talk about your backfield because they've really put points on the board for you this year.
Well, he's done a tremendous job. I've been fortunate enough to coach some great running backs, and he's right up there at the top of the mountain with them. But our offensive line has done a tremendous job. We've seen great growth in them. We've seen great growth in our quarterback and our receivers. And, Marquise Hurt will be with us again Friday night, so he adds another dimension to our game also. So, we're excited about what we can do offensively.
Wish you the best on Friday.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
So now you know everything you need to know about the big matchup coming up tomorrow night between Michigan City and LaPorte. The only thing we don't know, Joe, Wayne, who you got?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I'm not sure that any football player on Friday night on either team knows who Rusty Staub is.
I think Coach Sharp's a young guy. I don't think he knew who he was either. You and I knew. So
that's right. Left-hander, redhead.
That was a nice, timely question with the baseball playoffs starting.
Yes, true. That's true.
All right, it is time now to look at this game a little bit more, Wayne. I like these comments, and I usually don't always like the comments, but they must find a way to stop Kane Vesey and now Hurt. And as you heard Coach Sharp allude to, that McCullough is a dual-threat quarterback, which really means another runner you have to account for as well.
And another passing threat is McGill. Yeah. McGill has started to step up and play very well for Michigan City. So now you've got Kane Vesey to stop. You've got Hurt that usually is in the slot. And now you've got McGill on the wing and McAuliffe. That's a heck of an offensive combination.
A lot of things to account for. And that both teams you think will take something away. Right. Which is what usually happens, taking something away and then trying to contain the rest of it. I would think LaPorte would have to take the big guy, Kane Vesey, away. Yes. Try to do that because they would maybe still think that Hurt might not be 100%.
All right. When you look on the other side of it, LaPorte, Their three-headed running backs
Yeah.
are just outstanding. Their Long has had a tremendous season. The Juice, number 2,
Yeah.
he's stepped up. And then Lorenzen as a quarterback. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah, it will be a very offensive-minded game, it looks like, with so many weapons to try to account for both teams. All right, time now to get to all the picks. Let's check out Wayne's World. 7 weeks, finally got it figured out.
Finally got it figured out. Starting to hit my stride right now. It's a slow stride.
Finally got it figured out. 15-1. But of course, that one you missed, I was
Yes,
all
you
over.
did.
I was all
You were
over
over
that
that
one
one.
you missed.
Yes,
To
you
stay
did.
1-1 and 6-7 overall. Let's go to this week 8's picks for high school football.
I really like Central over Maryville, and it may be if Wright doesn't play. I think that Lake Central coming off a nice win against Chesterton is on the uptick.
I'm not sure Wright's going to play. That's why the check mark doesn't go here because
I understand.
obviously I think Maryville still has a chance with their second string quarterback played okay last week
Right.
coming out, and he has a full week of practice, I'm sure. But I just
And it depends if Kirkland comes back.
yeah, exactly.
That'd be a big difference.
Exactly. He might be a bigger factor as well.
Valparaiso over Portage, even though Portage has played well, this is a big rivalry too.
Yes, it
These
is.
are two schools that don't necessarily
This is
care for one
the,
another.
the old Hoffman-Bazia rivalry
That's right.
here.
That's right.
Which
right
is
there.
still, Valpo Portage is still a big rivalry. And Chesterton and Crown Point.
This is really a toss-up. Both teams struggle offensively. Both teams have a pretty good defense. Crown Point has a very good defense. I'm picking Crown Point in this one at home.
All right, let's move on to the Northwest Crossroads, shall we?
Highland, I think, gets back on it. I think
so.
that they are starting to step up and play a little bit better. And I like Lowell. Now, this one is in the Inferno, so I like Lowell at home against Munster.
All right, what's the red check mark think of these two?
You're taking KV
Going
over
with the
Highland.
Cougars with a K. I think their defense has
right.
been impressive. I think they're coming on. Highland, is a better team offensively maybe than
Right,
KV.
yeah.
But will KV's defense make enough plays to pull the upset? I am going to go with the Cougars with a K.
All right.
All right.
All
What do you
right.
think about that?
It's going to be a good game. I really do.
All right.
Holbert and Drayen. I'm sorry, no.
Holbert and Morton.
Holbert and Morton. I'm sorry. I think this is Holbert. Holbert is really playing well. 5-2 in the season. I really like what they're doing. And Drayen and Griffith. This is going to be a good one, like we said earlier.
I think you're disrespecting the Panthers by that spread. I think it'll be closer.
It's going to be closer.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see how close.
I like Gavitt
No check
over Hammond. No check mark.
No check mark. Okay.
Gavitt over Hammond. I like Clark to get their first win over West Side. And East Chicago over Bowman. This is at East Chicago, but it is a Bowman home game because Bowman doesn't have a field.
EC playing awfully well.
Yes, they really are. They
They,
really are.
they would have a date with Griffith, I think, next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's the check mark? Think of those.
Oh, you're
Check
taking
mark
West Side,
going with
huh?
the side.
All right.
The Cougar. You hear the theme here?
Yes.
Cougars with a K. Cougars with a C.
Hey, that's good. A little
You don't.
thematic
You must.
approaches, huh?
You must not like the Cougars, Wayne. Westside, I think, has improved since week 1 of the season a lot. I think that they're ripe for a win as well.
Right.
Two, I think, winless teams right here. We'll see how that works out. I really liked Westside's effort against Hammond. Very close to winning that football
Right.
game.
That's right. They were. They were.
So we'll see if that carries over to this game on Friday.
Greater South Shore, I like River. Nope, I missed one there.
I think you like River over Calumet.
I do. River over Calumet. That is at Calumet. I think that's the opening of their new
Yes,
stadium.
it is.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's homecoming.
Looks beautiful.
Yes. Congratulations to them.
And you like Whiting over Knoll.
I like Whiting. Whiting is playing back to what the Whiting Oilers are known for. North Newton over Lake Station tonight or tomorrow night. And I think Wheeler bounces back over Boone.
You were trying to bait me into taking Boone there.
I was. And,
I know you were.
Hanover Central has, a big contest with South Central. They can't look past to North Newton.
No,
because
they can't.
South Central can play defense there.
You like LaVille over the Jays.
I do. I like LaVille over the Jays, and I like Knox to stay on the winning track over Triton.
All right, and the biggie. You like the Slicer.
I like the Slicers over Michigan City. You sure you don't want to, check this one too? And
I think this is going to be an excellent football game. I really do. I just think Laporte's offense has not been stopped all season long. And they're starting to get it all cylinders with Jusevic's back, and
I know Phil's out there going, Joe, come on, Joe.
Coach, I got to hit the records first. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night, 10:30 live, PFR School Board on Lakeshore Public Television. Good night.
Who is the dark afraid of? His name is Tim. When you report a power outage, Tim and lineman like him respond to the call. Text OUT to 444-111 to report an outage. With your cell phone, when the power's out, power is still in your hands. Support for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Geminis, partnering for the future. Captioning for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Voice to Print Captioning, LLC. Wardrobe for PFR and PFR Scoreboard provided by Gosser Corporate Sales Incorporated. Custom embroidery, screen, and digital printing. Further support provided by Fahrenheit 212 Restaurant and Bar.